Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio, so today I am showing you a really good card that's coming out in Burning Shadows. It's Guzma. Now, if I sound a little bit croaky in this video, it's because I've spent literally all day casting at the Birmingham Regional Championships, Pokemon.com/live. It's carrying on tomorrow. We've got Top Cut action. And I couldn't not do a video about this. It's too good a card. So, essentially, Guzman is the bad guy in Pokemon Sun and Moon, like Lysandre was the bad guy in Pokemon X and Y, and the cards look quite familiar. Now, Guzma says, switch your opponent's active with one of their bench, then switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench. So it's basically a reprint of Lysandre, but you also get to switch at the same time. That sounds incredibly handy. Or to put it another way, it's an escape rope, but you get to choose which Pokemon your opponent puts in the active, not them. I mean, it makes Olympia look a little bit stupid. Olympia is a switch plus a potion. Guzma is a switch plus a Lysandre. And shall we say that Lysandre sees a little bit more play than Potion, and spare a bit of a thought for Lycanroc, because Burning Shadows, in which this card will be released, should be legal for the first time on the first day of the Pokemon World Championships. Right after that, Lysandre was supposed to get rotated, Lycanroc was going to come out, and Lycanroc was going to take the format by storm. Oh wait, but now, just as Lycanroc was about to get good, Guzma is going to be released, and unfortunately, and that doesn't mean that Lycanroc is not going to be good. Lycanroc's already seeing play with Raichu at the moment. It just means it's not going to be quite as good as it would be. One of the things I really like about Guzma is that it works so well with Golisopod GX, and if you've played through the Pokemon Sun and Moon games, you will know that Golisopod is really the signature Pokemon of Guzma. Golisopod has a brilliant attack for just a single energy, does 120 as a base, if you became active that turn. I did my Golisopod video yesterday, link in the description. Problem is, of course, that you need to become active every turn. So you need switching cards. Well, good news, this is a switch plus a Lysandre, so believe me, ladies and gentlemen, and there is some beautiful poetry in this. Guzma and Golisopod work really nicely in the Pokemon trading card game. Now, is this better than Lysandre? And the answer is, maybe. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. Sometimes you need to get your active Pokemon out while playing a Lysandre. This does it all in one go. Under those circumstances, this is much better than Lysandre. Sometimes it doesn't really make a difference. You can just retreat your active and then play this to put your active back in. Brilliant. But sometimes this can be worse. Sometimes you have the active Pokemon you just want a Lysandre. So if you play this card, that means that you then have to get the new active out. Now, you can use Floatstone, but of course Floatstone is an awful lot less playable since Field Blower came out. It's still an amazing card, Floatstone, but it doesn't stick and be guaranteed to stay around like it did and was before Field Blower came out. And of course this means that your free retreaters like Tapu Koko, for instance, are going to instantly become so much more important, because if you've just got a single Tapu Koko on the bench with free retreat, or even something like a Mew from Fates Collide, you play Guzma, you stick your Mew or Tapu Koko in the active, essentially work it like a Lysandre, and then you free retreat and you're in the same place you were in. But think of something like Volcanion. This is going to be so good for Volcanion, because Volcanion, of course, attacks and then isn't allowed to attack the following turn. Now you can play something like Pokemon Ranger and blah blah blah, but here all you need to do is switch into a free retreater using this while doing a Lysandre, and then free retreat. Or maybe you've got a second Volcanion set up on the bench, so you play this to move to your second Volcanion while playing a Lysandre and completely ignoring that requirement that you can't attack the following turn. But there is one reason, and one reason alone, why this is an absolutely brilliant, amazingly, God-sendingly good card. We were headed for a Pokemon Catcher format. Those of you that were playing when Heart Gold Soul Silver became the start of the rotation will remember that we had a Pokemon Reversal format. It's Pokemon Catcher, the old version, different name. There was no Pokemon Catcher without the coin flip, which was released later. There was no Lysandre. If you wanted to drag your opponent's bench Pokemon into the active, and we all know how powerful a strategy that is, you had to use Pokemon Reversal. It was too good not to play, and many games just came down to who could flip more heads on Pokemon Reversal. I was there, I was playing, I assure you it happened, and it was frustrating. Well, Pokemon Catcher no longer is automatic, it now needs a coin flip. If we lost Lysandre, that was the format we were heading in. Everyone was going to be playing Pokemon Catcher. It was coming down to flips. Guzma stops this. I would much rather have a supporter, which is your only supporter for the turn, and you've got to play tactically, than have an item card which is a flip and see who can flip more heads. But let's be clear about this. There is absolutely no doubt this is a 5 WOSSY card. 2 days in a row, and I'm sorry, there's just no argument against it. It's too gosh darn good. It is going to be a staple in basically every deck because it's coming out right as Lysandre rotates. It is going to see a huge amount of play. It's an amazing card. Yesterday, a few of you said, oh, Galissapod, maybe it's more of a 4 WOSSY card or a between 4 and 5 WOSSY card. Let's be clear about this, ladies and gentlemen. It's a 5 WOSSY card. Now, I've had a long day of streaming. I'm going to edit this and I'm going to go to bed. What I want you to do is like, subscribe, comment, follow me on Twitter at the WOSSY. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross and you've been watching PTCG Radio.